Good afternoon, everybody. So, we do not have the same people who attended yesterday. So, I would love to do this repeat presentation of the paper. But I wonder if how many among us are also into marketing education. Okay. You are, sir.
Marketing college.
Yes, that's right. Undergraduate. But I'm marketing the college, so you are into promotion. I did that stint once for my university. Anyway, so I hope I would not be able to repeat the same statements I had yesterday when I was presenting this. So as an introduction, what has actually given me inspiration to do this paper is I was so deeply challenged because of the situation being faced by particularly the College of Business Administration of the University of the East. That's one of the biggest business schools in the heart of the Metro Manila. And the enrollment numbers to about 10,000 in 2 campuses. And so we cater to sciences, business courses, etc., etc. So for the College of Business Administration alone, we had this very low productivity in terms of research. So thinking about the conference theme for this year's ASAIHL conference, enhancing academic partnerships for education and research in the international arena, I just realized just this morning that we have nothing to contribute as an institution in partnering with other institutions as well if we do not have the capability of improving our research excellence in the institution, particularly for my college. So we may not be able to contribute much to the accomplishment or attainment of this goal unless all of the HEIs in the world would have the same leverage as the others, particularly in terms of research. Okay, so the title of the paper is Research and Rich Marketing Curriculum. And this is one way by which we can be able to address, I'm thinking towards the direction, so that we will be able to address the low performance of our college in terms of research. So by the Research and Rich Marketing Curriculum, we will be able to motivate and strengthen the faculty members to engage in research. I call it an action research because I would dwell on a particular organizational problem. And so I'm feeding this idea of REMC, I call it, that's REMC, so that we will be able to revitalize the college, moving towards research capability. Okay, as an introduction, we have been listening to great lectures, speeches since day one, and we would come to know that while large institutions over the world are experiencing excellence in terms of their research programs, we would have to feel for certain universities and colleges that have not been moving towards the same direction. And incidentally, my university is into that situation. But I also believe that there are several ways HEIs can choose from to strengthen its research capabilities. It's a matter of finding a best fit for the college to be able to strengthen its research competency, given the capability of the teachers, where they're coming from, why don't they want to engage in research, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the background being, the university, just like any institution over the world, is one that is desirous to strengthen and upgrade its research capability. Now, by this specifically, it wants to see more faculty members in all its colleges participate actively in research. Now, incidentally, the campus where I'm in has about 6 colleges. And if you have to total the number of faculty members, we would number to about more than 300. Now, to date, we only have about 10% or a little over 10% who are fully engaged in research, and these are almost the same people who are, applying for research grant almost every year. So it's not increasing in any way, and that is not a very good, indicator for a university such as ours. Now the college should be that's where I belong, seeks to do its part to support the university's intention to strengthen its research capability. So that is what I was talking about earlier. So we want to increase our research productivity. Now, this is how I frame the research problem. What can be done to energize and strengthen the research activity among BA faculty? And the area of focus statement is twofold. The purpose is to find out how the proposed REMC can strengthen the research capability of UE and to plan and coordinate the integration of research into specific courses in marketing program. Now, in effect, we want to determine how the research-based marketing curriculum can increase research productivity in the college and ascertain at the same time what action should be carried out to facilitate the adoption of research-enriched marketing curriculum. Now, CBA's approach, the way I put together the paper, would be embodied in what we call research-based marketing management program. Now, through this course, I believe we would have the capability to perform more dramatically in research and improve our productivity through the idea called REMC. Now, REMC, these are the characteristics I put into it. It must have the inclusion of 6 units of research in marketing program, just to be able to orient the students on the basic principles and applications of research. It allows integration of application of research in other courses. I'm going to elucidate on that later on. It also inculcates the value of research in business, and it encourages students to utilize the tool when appropriate. Now, currently, this is the arrangement, or what do you call this, combination of all marketing subjects in the course. We have a total of 15 courses in the marketing management program. Oh, wait a minute. Now, given this set of courses, methods of research and applied marketing research are core subjects. The students would really have to take up these 2 research subjects. Now, after which, they would now be ready to apply their skills they learned from methods of research in other marketing subjects. Now, apart from the research papers, we also do a lot of other papers in specific subjects such as advertising, IMC, sales, service, global, and retail management. Now, we all have these outputs, and these are all papers that would have to be orally presented before a panel of evaluators. Now, they would not be able to get the final grade until they present orally all of these papers. Now, given this, my friends, it simply connotes that marketing students have the capability to produce any paper within the curriculum, which means that they could be considered as hardworking. They're into a lot of writing papers, etc., etc. So the idea of REMC is you take advantage of the already given ability of the students to put a paper. It's just that for research alone, they can be able to employ their skills in research only in methods and applied marketing research. Okay, so on top of all these courses that have numbers would be part of the research-enriched marketing curriculum. Because as we were mentioning earlier, these are all the papers we do. Now, the big difference now would be, instead of simply creating an advertising plan, under the REMC, we would have the students undertake research so they can have a better way of approaching how to strategize on promotion or advertising, simply because they do data gathering. Sales plan, you may not be able to put it together unless you create a sales plan that is doable. When you put together, when we integrate research into sales planning, it would be more responsive to the needs of the business company, simply because the students may be able to gather information from the current clients, and they would, I'm sorry, I'm talking about sales plan. So we all have to deal with the sales force. How could they be able to create more sales into the company through selling the products and services? So in other words, when they go around and ask potential respondents, they would be able to determine how can the company be able to achieve much higher sales in marketing a particular product. It will be able to get feedback from the current clients they have. All right. Now, this particular approach called REMC can increase the research outputs of the college. This is what I actually have in mind. When we will be able to encourage more faculty members to teach the students research, regardless of what particular course it is, then they would be able to increase the research outputs. Now we look at it this way. In the current curriculum, only these two courses are able to produce papers, and these are not even considered as part of research, compilation of research in the college. I'm going to explain that later on. But we will be able to produce 8 papers per school year if we only dwell on methods and apply. Now, one of the goals of the paper is to produce more outputs. That's why we are introducing the research be combined into the paper the students create for the school year. So if there will be, let's say, 24 total of papers created in these different courses, then we will be able to increase the output from 24 plus 8, that's going to give us 32. But take out all of these papers, and every year we're only bound to produce only 8 papers, research papers. REMC can also have the capability to involve more faculty members. Now today, there are only 2 faculty members, and that includes myself, teaching methods and applied marketing research. Now there are other faculty members who handle all of these courses, who may be encouraged to teach research on top of what they have to lecture on advertising, IMC, retailing, etc., etc. Now, the additional number of teachers who can be involved in research would be 5 plus 2, that would give us a total of 7 faculty members per school year who would now be actively involved in research. Now, there are 2 things that have to be involved in the intervention. Phase 1 would mean that we need to actualize the idea of REMC, and these are the action steps. First, it is imperative that there should be an orientation of students and teachers of REMC. And then it has to be followed by an amendment of course syllabi. That would be consistent to what we would like to come out of the new curriculum. And then revised format outline of papers to be followed by all of the student groups in target courses. Coordinate with College Research Committee, because normally I would have to say at this point that even if we have to produce research outputs within the department, these are not considered as research of the college or university, because necessarily they have to pass through the process mandated by the university research program. So even given the outputs of 24, for example, that all of this as papers would have to be processed by the College Research Committee. Now, I would also recommend that a marketing research consultative committee be created that would take charge of processing the research grants and the trafficking of the, what do you call this? The needed forms, requirements, etc., etc. And then at the end of every semester, that would be compiled together and would have to be submitted to the College Research Committee and ultimately to the URC, or University Research Committee. And all of this are in the form of action research. Now, phase 2 of the intervention would involve the recommendation of the REMC to the University Research Council. Now, before I go any further, I'd like to switch to this slide first. These are the 3 types of researches that we undertake in the university. The 3 types are type 1, that is an individual grant for faculty members. Type 2 is collaborative among faculty members. And type 3 would be collaborative research among faculty and students, where REMC would be categorized. Okay, let me go back. The next phase of the intervention would include meeting with the University Research Committee, with the College Research Committee, because we need to give details of how REMC would work so that we will be able to enjoy the benefits out of doing the curriculum. And then eventually, we would like to clinch the university approval of REMC. Now, I was explaining to the group yesterday that this is very, very important because once the REMC is approved by the university, they have to appropriate enough budget every year so that researches would increase. Now, unless they do that, they may not be able to incentivize both the faculty and the students to do research, because that is going to mean hard work for them. Okay, next would be, now, I took time to apply REMC in service marketing just in the last semester of last school year. I had 38 students enrolled in service marketing class, and I was able to organize 6 groups. I have asked each of the groups to submit to me a list of 5 companies where they would want to undertake the research to a given or to an existing service provider in Metro Manila, or within Luzon. That's they went as far as, let's say, 200 to 300 kilometers from Manila. Really? So they can travel as far as that. The group suggested some companies to me, and at the end of the semester, there were 6 researches that were completed. The companies that they went to were Kaliraya Beach Resort. They really wanted to go to this place to enjoy.
This was 200 kilometers from yeah?
More than 200 kilometers. And then to spend their own money, I have arranged for the waiver of the students because I could not accompany all of them. And they went by themselves. They spent overnight in the beach resort and they really enjoyed. They were able to interview about that was about a weekend, 150 respondents. And the manager of Kaliraya Beach Resort was so glad about it. I'm going to show pictures later on. They also studied on St. Peter Memorial Chapels. This is one of the famous memorial services in the Philippines. Super Ferry Shipping Lines, they actually had traveled by ship and they went to Mindanao. LPC Forwarder, Tagaytay Zipline, and Ace Water Spa, that is a therapeutic water spa. Now, I'd like to explain the difference between the service plan that had oftentimes been produced in the course from the REMC type of service plan. They would normally propose a service provider company that is hypothetical, and they would create a company history, vision, mission, the products, the target market, and everything else. Now, take note of the big difference between what a service plan would look like now. The introduction, the background, etc. And a statement of the problem would have to be identified together with the business manager of the business company. So they will be able to ascertain what do they think would be the problem where the students could be able to put up a research so they can be supported or assisted along that line. And then at the end of the conclusion, once they do the tabulation of data, etc., there would now be a service plan that would be proposed depending on the analysis of the data that have been gathered through the research, etc. So that is not actually moving far away from what used to be a service plan that the students have been developing. So it's still well a part of the REMC service plan. Alright, now these were the findings. Initially, the student groups found it so tedious because the processes, simply because on top of the service plan that they have to worry about, they also have to think in terms of the questionnaire formulation, the data collection, plus the analysis, and so on and so forth. However, because of the travel they did and enjoying the amenities of all of these places they went to, at the end of the semester, they were all testified that it was an enjoyable stint for them. And then the students identified the distinction now between the service plan marketing students have been doing to what has happened to the service plan, where there was research, what do you call this, integrated into it. Now, in addition, the students learned the significance of research and marketing decisions. The students felt the research made more sense in the development of a service plan because it now provides essential information as the basis for the plan, meaning it has become more practical, and the strategies that they have recommended would now be more employable and doable and more practical. The students put to use more of their ability in analyzing, planning, organizing, and coordinating. In addition, the teachers found it fulfilling. I was a teacher. Fulfilling as students completed the papers in spite of the hard work that go with the exercise. Now, outside of the classroom meetings, I devote additional time coaching the student groups because that was necessary. Because this is the first time that they're doing a service plan with research. The teacher found it that, now I have to underscore this. The companies were appreciative of the efforts of the students in conducting the survey and sharing the valuable information. I'll tell you something. Whenever I ask the students to list down possible companies they want to work with, most of the time the companies would turn down the invitation. But most of the companies who were open to the idea were really very, very appreciative because normally these are companies that are not, do not usually do surveys or research simply because, well, one of the reasons would be there's no budget intended for research. And they do simply they have this suggestion forms placed somewhere in the store, and it's up to the customers to get one. In other words, they are not really very serious about undertaking a research just to be able to get the level of satisfaction the customers they have every time the customers visit their place. Now, these are the pictures. See how happy the branch manager was. And these are my senior students. Okay. The actual conduct of one-on-one interview. There they had instrument be accomplished by the clients. Whew. All right. Now, the shift to research and rich marketing curriculum can give the real and lift to you is research capability. That was what I was able to feel after completing all of this service plans with research at the end of the second semester of last year. Now, the idea behind this research may enhance education and research of HEIs globally. REMSI can deliver the results we wanted for our university. The same results can be delivered to other institutions if the idea will be adopted. Thank you very much. That's how we call thank you in Filipino. Maraming salamat.